Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, the one and only Master Propaganda, Hero-like defender of the fatherland of it, 1v1 on Villa Fiore. In the south, it is Xuman, fighting here with the British Army in the Commonwealth, the 7th Armoured Division, and the Australians. In the north, it is Stephenn of Australia, fighting for the Germans. Awkward. Fighting here for Deutschland. Das Reich here with the 15th Panzergrenadier Division, 2nd Panzergrenadier Company. Bikes away there for Stephenn. No battle group choice yet here. Keine Kampfgruppen with double sappers there out of Xuman. We're off here. Panzergrenadier flight for Stephenn. No Italians for him. At least not yet. Sappers poking for the south there. Stand guns at the ready. Panzergrenadiers busy. Almost getting ready to hit the front line. Need to put on their boots properly. There you go. Panzergrenadiers out there with the CoH3 DAK bolt action rifles.
A new infantry section is ready for battle.
Section ready.
Sappers, eager to shift some dead weight.
Panzer Pioneer, they're busy, and for those wondering, well, why did they never, kept having the bolt action rifles as the main weapon, not going for, fancy and larger numbers? Well, partly it was simply because doctrine for them was, basically, the infantry or the rifles were meant to support the machine gun. The machine gun was the key weapon of the German infantry squad. So the rifles, was sort of secondary thought as long as they had the MG. The other one was obviously just simply put production capacity. The CoH3 as the woman was just the easiest thing to produce compared to semi-automatics, plus, of course, when they got to the Sturmgewehr, of course, they tried to switch towards that, but again, they just couldn't produce enough of them. Hell, they could barely produce enough CoH3 TKs, that despite them actually utilizing many various other rifle factories in occupied countries to actually produce CoH3 TKs, or at least weapons very similar to the CoH3 TK. Fun fact, Dingo on the way there for Xuman. Hunter's got the centre here up north, bike busy there for Stephenn of Australia. The most Australia-tastic Australian ever. Dingo's raising 40. South City section getting the Panzers underwaring around here. British forces charging in, their guns blazing. Insults flying. Nigel goes down first there. Flying down the stairs and hitting his head very hard. Thankfully, he'd not have been shot through it, so there's no further injury. Panzers in trouble here. British forces forcing in the blind spot. Good push here. Catching Stephenn's men there. Definitely a bit perplexed, as, they can get shot through the walls, but they can't shoot back through them. Another section here for Xuman. Panzer Pioneer going for the section here. German forces and sending slow push back as the British armed forces here push their way through here and overcoming the Germans. Section south here forced away there after the loss of the Nigel. The rest of the squad clearly broke down as Nigel was the only one who had to make a good cup of tea. That simply put just broke their fighting spirit. Come on, chaps, I can brew tea too, but yours tastes like wet socks, Gavin. It's a family recipe. Wet socks? Good God, Gavin. Good God. You need to just end that family recipe. Anyways, section out there. Light support company there for Stephenn. Dingo there, pushed back by Panzergrenadiers and the bike holding up a bit here as well. Those sides are grouping a bit here. Another section there for Xuman. Stephenn's infantry launches themselves forwards for the glory of Das Vaterland. Section advancing. Fun fact though, British doctrine actually sort of was also meant to be built around a light machine gun, of course in this case the Bren gun. The major difference was basically just how they imagined, what was the best machine gun, where the Germans kind of just focused on volume. The British, focused on accuracy. Obviously the MG-42 and MG-34 was all accurate to an extent, but that was it really only matters with the first burst in the first few bullets, as after that, they're just gonna duck their heads into the dirt anyways and be hot enough to shoot at. It's sort of again the way you sort of roughly have the same idea. You can sort of approach them from quite different directions. Panzer Pioneer meanwhile about to find out there's plenty of ways to meet one end, and that's of course death. The Dingo there being hunted, also just pushing forward, spike front block here. Didn't save the Panzer Pioneers. They did get utterly exterminated here by Xuman. Painful blow there to Stephenn. And now the cutoff point is quite open and vulnerable. Like an unintended piece of chicken around a cat. 250 half there, the Leichter Schützen Panzerwagen. Panzer's flanking no cats in the section here. Hold up behind an old burnt out M1340 Italian tank. Stephenn is yet to go for battle, but of course, in the case of Stephenn, he's usually a bit more the, you know, pensive, awaiting player. Section wiped. But he tends to like be a bit more, you know, on the slower end. Again, pensive when it comes like making a battle group position. Humbers on the way there, got the cutoff point back despite Xuman's attempt here to hit it with artillery. And 250 nearly survives. Like that did not. He goes for a pretty big maneuver here to save the 250 half to hold keeping the squad here. Interesting maneuver there, but Stephenn no thumbs up, and he got Panzer's out to help deal with the Dingo. But I imagine also because Stephenn is anticipating a Humber armoured car.
Armoured car.
As they do tend to get common still, in spite of the Panzerjägers.
We're losing a victory point.
So the Panzerjägers and the 250 half track will of course be quite helpful here for Stephenn. Fuel bomb being hit, they're really good opening so far for on the 1-2 for Xuman. Got the 2-pounder gun on the way to help you with the 250 half track. Of course, any other light vehicles out of Stephenn, like the other 250 half track. Two 250 half tracks indeed. Which is a fun fact, it's also the right amount of half tracks to form up the squad of clear, and their half tracks. Each half of the squad actually right their separate half track. Humber there pushed back. And the Dingo fixed up, 2-pounder gun on the move. 250 up to him, need repairs. We've got fast support elements here for Stephenn. Might actually see a flak filling half track. They've definitely been pushed a bit to the side due to the 8 meta. That sort of has re-emerged for the DAK, or the Stug D meta, either which do not include the flak filling half track. Funnily enough. There you go, 2-pounder gun out here for Xuman.
Flags raised!
Two 250 half tracks. What will Stephenn do with them besides wrap them around? And Panzer gun inside, he's going to fix them up first, use them to heal. Panzer on the upper flank here, but large forces of British troops here with Bren guns, Sten guns, and Enfield guns. Yes, the Enfields, obviously. Panzer's at the 250 again here. Still no battle group for Stephenn. Flak filling half track on the way. We'll have to go for, but typically in these kind of cases, at least for the average DAK player, if they wait, it's almost always going to be armoured support, because there'll be 10 combined arms or Panzerjäger, because this is Stephenn, but even then, I still think, you know, we need that internal Stephenn meta game. I think Stephenn still probably more likely to end up with armoured support. It's just the more broadly applicable battle group that's just flexible and in a sense agnostic as to, like, you know, what the strategy is and like what part of the match you're picking in. We'll see. Could still be Panzer, could still be 10 combined armors, but armor support I still think is sort of the more likely one here. Xuman preparing for light tanks. Stephenn is definitely feeling the pressure here. Xuman's controlling the centre, and Stephenn's forces are starting to make much of an effective breakthrough against all the British infantry and heavy cavalry with Bren guns. We have some ND-34s there for Stephenn's Panzer Grenadier. Flag filling half to their flanking their section in the centre. That way, finally kicking open the door here. But even there, we can see here, Xuman's up to something in the south. The cheeky little sod. There goes Saturn North with the flag filling half track. Around it. Bravo got very lucky, didn't get his head blown off. In fact, I believe on the Americans' half tracks, the M16, they actually had a system set in place, so, like, you know, basically within a certain angle of the driver's cabin, the gun would just basically lock, so it couldn't, like, you know, go there. If I remember correctly. I imagine the Germans might apply some of the same on at least some of the versions, but I guess some might not have been quite feasible. But either way. There's the flak feeling.
Where'd they come from?
Sappers, sections, Stuarts, 2-pounders all on the move here.
A munitions point is being
How does he
overrun.
react to this? Pack 38 maybe?
We're losing a victory point to
Doing
enemy
some minor
action.
gut man of course here by Xuman. Rushing straight ahead with Panzerjägers. Hands are down here, Slack feeling. Nice 3-point push here by Stephenn. 2 thumbs up. That's actually fairly well executed here by him. Just caught in by the Brits though. Right into their own midst apparently. That's a tactic. That is absolutely a tactic.
Enemy forces have claimed the sector. You don't like recon? We've lost them.
Headquarters, we have a bangers and mash. Bangers and mash, you know, fire artillery at us. The Germans are already here. Oh,
Tank gun knocked out.
thought that was a number 17 with spuds. No. That's Germans right behind us. Had to push back there by the Sappers.
Sappers have orders to over
Almost got the steward here. That was a pretty interesting push there by Stephenn, though. 2 thumbs up, even if it didn't quite work out fully. That was definitely impressive. And I mean, no, he was trying to do that. I guess Stephenn just was expecting Xuman to call an artillery on himself. That sort of like threw Stephenn off a bit there, because I mean, you know, normally the British do show a bit more regard for their own. That was more like, you know, Soviet thing.
The beggars are threatening a
But
munitions
here we are.
point.
Still trying to get away here. Stephenn, I think, has seen through his Xuman, as if though he's transparent and glass-like. Had it being self-repaired here, but Stephenn's Panzerjäger Muni anticipating trying to go through here. 2 thumbs up, Stephenn is pretty good reading his opponent. They're getting ambushed. Got it. Stuart light tank cooked up.
Radio's dead. Stewart crew.
And there you go. In the end, it is, in fact, armoured support out of Stephenn. Unsurprised I'm going for the salvage because, I mean, the salvage is just really good. Excellent ability. Since again, it's pretty much just free resources of like destroying your opponent's tanks, which is typically really good. With the situation Stephenn is, it's like any advantage you can get, and free resources is a hell of an advantage. Believe it or not. But there we go. Bit of fuel, bit of manpower. It's not going to be like anything like massive here, but it's still going to be significant, like 10 fuel and maybe like 100 or so manpower. That's definitely something that, you know, salvages enough can quickly add up there against his opponent. It's a really good ability to have. Another Panzer squad called in by Stephenn and Deutschland. Making Stuart at it. Got a repair from the Reds, of course, they come sponge here. How repaired Stuarts really have become, I think, a notable part of the British metagame at the moment because they're really, really cost efficient. And can be used to like apply a lot of pressure to your opponent, making it that much tougher for them to actually take up towards the medium armor. That's really like one of those sneaky things you can do here with like again just extreme defense and, you know, overrepair.
Being overrun.
Guns are driving.
The beggar.
Don't need more firepower against Stuarts, to be honest. Nice flank here by Stephenn, though. 2 thumbs up. I like Stephenn's maneuvering here. It's quite, you know, deft and shows, I think, a good tactical understanding of terrain there. So really well played by Stephenn. Really well played. 318 is in 364. North side a bit forgotten, but with all the pressure going down here in the situation Stephenn is in, I do understand why he may not feel, you know, particularly happy about diverting forces. We do have tech actually. We do get the Stug D here for Stephenn. Dankeschön 3 Ausführung D. You also got veteran squad leaders here, making his infantry overall a bit better. Taking the Panzers do get us 6th guy on top of their experience bonus and becoming harder to hit. Meanwhile, Xuman, of course, more Stuart light tanks.
We've lost the sector to the enemy.
Crashing through the terrain here. Stug D's almost done. Of course, obviously, the Stug D performs against all these Stuarts. So, you know, possibly Stephen might have wanted something a bit, you know, more punchy. But then again, martyrs just get swarmed unless you had like a lot of martyrs. You have to like build them up. But Sestudi obviously can get swarmed, but at least he's got the frontal armor to protect against them. So it is a bit harder to swarm here for Xuman easily. Third Steward ready.
Tracked and ready.
As he can at least somewhat reliably bounce 2 pounder gun shots.
The battle falls in our favor.
There's off. Nearly got the Panzerexalti. Stuki going for the 2 pounder gun here. Stuart's getting planked there by anti-tank rifle fire. Section of being blasted there by the Panzergrenadiers. Trying to push here by Stephen. Landing in the Panther as well here. Stu being pushed back here by the small Stu force under Stephen. Stephen doing his best here, I think, to try and keep his opponent a bit wrong-footed. But the South British forces making excellent headway here. 4th Steward for Xuman. Definitely only going to make things tougher for Stephen with, you know, soon 2 Stooks and some Panzerjägers, but they're still going to be like, you know, be 4 Stewards and like at some point 4 fully over-repaired Stewards, which is definitely going to be tough for the Stooks like ready punch holes into. At least in-game. In an actual war, obviously, it should be, you know, probably could easily punch some holes into the Stewards, truth be told.
They still have 250 points left.
4th Steward there about to hit for Xuman and the British Empire.
Stuart tank available on Lend-Lease.
And there we go. 4th Steward, and of course, immediately over-repairing it. Not much of a surprise there, truth be told. Playing for a tank for Stephen, guessing actually he's trying to set up here for command tank. I mean, command tanks upon the 2 Stewards could be quite nasty as they could fire arm-piercing rams to the Stewards, but at the same time the Stewards can also use more effective blast infantry and strike off more shots from the front. So, I could definitely see that being an actual strategy there for Stephen, though. Versus the Quad Stewards, the question is, of course, still, will it be sufficient against that? Unit, no, we got 18 was 203. Section advancing. There we go, big old Steward charge here, Steward rushing in. Panzer's coming flanking there, go double attack grenade, then go out the Steward. Xuman there, sensing Stephen's mistake, it's perhaps ready to push him, but there's something holding him back, as you might have noticed. It's concerned Stephen might have something up his sleeve here, so it's holding back a bit, I think. Like, that's more like Chris charging into a trap here, and suddenly find himself short and Stewards without really doing enough damage to Stephen. That's now obviously pretty much, you know, there's costing the entire game. We got a 5th Steward there for Zoom caps. Is he slowly moving ahead? He's not just charging it. He's still trying to see if there's not something can exploit, but he's being very hesitant about it. Despite having his advantage, he is taking Stephen very seriously as an opponent. He's not like, you know, risking anything there. At least not too much. You see that one of the Stooks that drives off, he knows that, so with this, it clearly seems to like encourage Xuman to get a bit more aggressive now. So Stooks are suddenly split up. Actually just rush in, he might actually be able to catch the Panzerjägers. Repairing the Steward, getting them wiped, that could have been GG for Stephen if anything, so this was actually pretty risky for Stephen. There you go, 5th Steward light tank repaired, of course ensuring the over repairs at first. Thumbs up, got the tank commander up on the way. Martyr brief considered by Stephen. Yeah, he's going to go for command tank and have all the Stewards better. In a lot of ways, but of course he can use his armor to deal with the Stewards. So just needs a bit more fuel here. There we go, the Xuman senses again the weakness then Stephen's lines. The Steward went into fire, maybe that's a trap here hiding behind the building. Yeah, I think so actually. He rushes out, the infantry trying to catch his Xuman Stewards off guard. But they pop smoke, and Xuman managed to escape here, but without taking any of the Stewards. That is at least somewhat fortunate here for Stephen. Again, I'm sure he'd also prefer like he's kept taking up one of the Stewards. Doing 18%, 166. Victory points sitting out here for Stephen. The gap is growing between the two. And we got a 6th Steward light tank here for Xuman. And Britannia. Also got some panzers there, white men, second rifle left behind. I'm guessing at this point Stephen just doesn't think they're much worth it, unsurprisingly against all these unprepared stewards.
Ready to move on.
Pack 38 here at the ready. I get bum rushed over by the stewards, 250 after one pack 30 cleared out in a matter of moments. Got the 2-pounder gun here though. If he can get his hands on it, that would actually be quite helpful here for Stephen due to its high rate of fire and mobility. It could actually be handy here versus the light tanks. But yeah, they were able to do all of that and just, you know, realistically speaking, barely take any damage because the UKF basically absorbed it. Now we got 200 crew. His team wants from a bad spot here. Stewart charging in the Steward's nearby. Infantry hiding around him up to get off some extra tanks. Almost got one of the Stewart's light tanks. 2-pounder guns still at it. Stewart getting hammered. Trying to deal with infantry. Hunter goes there. Got one of the Stewart's.
Has been lost to enemy action.
Let's clear out that 2-pounder gun again. Stewart's flanking in here. Panzer zoom with the can. Panzer zoom in there as well. Got the 2-pounder gun here. It's an absolute brawl here. Drunken kind. Another Stewart down, but with another one this way. 4 Xuman, Stephenn, Stu, DS kaput. Coming to recruit the pack. 38 here. Another Stewart down. An absolute drunken brawl here. Losses piling up here on both sides. Stu, D kaput. Salvaging though for resources. In fact, 2 salvage perhaps. Which could have caused last team to actually somewhat recuperate from this relatively fast. To remember to salvage any of the Stewards you can. Wrecking the 2-pounder gun command tank out here for Stephen and the German army. What an absolute nutty battle there. Salvaging more here, thumbs up. Fresh Steward out for Xuman. We grab the 2-pounder will be destroyed. Command tank rushing to the front line here. Go, salvaged. Guess we'll be able to grab that 2-pounder gun. Probably should just try to destroy it then. I do get the idea, wanting to recruit. Again, as he's Steward spam. Captured Steward would actually again be really helpful. But fortunately, just can't seem to get his hands on it. Maybe actually won't be able to do so. Xuman is being pushed to the limit. Got 18 within 16. Arc is taking here. Command tank going in there. Archers for Xuman. There we go. Prophecy has been fulfilled. The 2-pounder gun recruited by the Germans. Steward down here. Steward down. Another Steward down here. Down to 3. Holding the 2-pounder gun out there to get reinforced. I think it's a smart move there by Stephen. Another Steward 3D.
The enemy has it.
Don't almost 100 points here for Stephen though.
The enemy's wavering.
Half track at ace level almost knocked out. Stephen's definitely feeling the pressure, but he is not faltering. He is not wavering. His morale remains high. Fixing up the 250 half tank here. Self-repairs researched. My emergency repair kits. So expediting things a bit there. 2-pounder and 38 pack being repaired. And there we go. We got an arch out there for Xuman and Britannia. Even as Stephen's victory points are starting to really run dry here. We'll have to see how that works out though in the face of all these anti-tank guns. The fact that Stephen doesn't exactly have a lot of armor at the moment. It does make a certain archer texture look a tad overkill. Just a tiny bit. We'll have to see all the way though. Infantry holding up inside the building here. Section on the run.
We're losing a victory point to enemy action.
Stewart's getting ready for something. Sneak has to break through a nearby wall. That or the driver's drunk.
A victory point is being overrun. Archer tank destroyers are available.
Charging in there, what will Stephenn do?
Victory point under
He's got the
enemy
resources for
control.
like another Stu D theoretically. He actually cancelled it. Actually cancelled. What could Stephenn be plotting here? The 18 was a 38. Got a Vickers there for Xuman. 38 was 17. Quite the gap between Stephenn and Xuman. So doing another steward here. Thumbs up. Is he going to go for Panzer Company and start churning up Panzer 3s? Or what is Stephenn plotting here? We got another Panzerjäger Gruppe. Well, the rest of his economy seems a bit on freeze at the
Heavy
moment.
machine gun and crew are ready for orders.
Xuman is clearly building up for another big push and hopefully just breaking Stephenn's spine like it's a twig. They're going to all the guns here. Xuman finding his direct charge there, going a bit poorly there with the guns backing up. Command tank taking us from the Archer.
Jerry's not giving up without a fight. We're down to 300 points.
300 points left here, less than that now. For 98 as a 38.
The enemy have taken our territory.
Enemy fire! Settle here. Ready.
Shot there. He's off the pack video and the Archer tank destroyer.
Covering position.
Nearly dodged that. 2-pounder gun recruit again after getting hit up with those British bastards. James 38.
Contact with the bloody enemy!
Sections routed. We got 285 as 38. Because the Xuman signal getting hammered. Command tank push back. Makers was number 2 for Xuman. Bring in more of those guns for Britannia. The grind for the centre continues. Xuman's tactics are pretty much brutish. Almost Neanderthal-like, even Neanderthals are tanks. 75 is 38.
Heavy machine gun has been deployed for
Got a
you.
quick flank here with Panzer's quick with a Panzerbuchse. Catching it, Xuman a bit off guard. Also got the anti-tank loader there ready. Just needs some detonations called in. There we go. On the right time, he could devastate Xuman entirely. The other coming to the wrong point. Stephenn could just call in and, you know, just completely wreck him, I think. A good push. Oh, there we go. Got it. Punch up. They definitely do get a fair bit of damage there. Stephenn, though, continue to float man-pound fuel here. Two-pounder gun back in British service here. Can Stephenn get it back? 250 half-tick knocked out. Lloyd as they're catching the 17-pounder again. Yeah. They successfully managed to evacuate the 2-pounder gun.
Lost to enemy action.
But, on the other hand here, Vickers claimed by the German army. So a bit of a slip there by Xuman. Plot continues to sort of remain where it is for now. Still a big lead here for Stephenn of Xuman over Stephenn, or Stephenn over Xuman. Quite the
We're
opposite.
losing a victory
D for
point.
Stephenn. I was almost starting to think he's going to take up and go for Panda 3 or something else. But nope. Stephenn reasserts his self-discipline and self-control
Victory
and
point
goes for another
lost.
Stu
The
D.
enemy has control.
Taking aim for another push it back to the two Stu light tanks here. Xuman refuses to give up.
We're down to 250 points. Our opponent is in control.
Got another
of the
steward
victory
here.
point.
Zuman's tactics is definitely starting to prove a bit self-defeating to a lesser extent here. I mean, they're still making clearly a lot of progress because they do work for the Brits, but the Waits losing Stuarts this time, I don't think that the cut is over. First, there we go, another Stuart down. So many light tanks have now been lost, meaning Xuman's infantry is going to be significantly less well supported.
Hide it round now.
Which is arguably where the real problems might then abound.
We're losing a victory point to enemy action.
324 versus 38.
We have territories exposed out there.
Another Vickers there.
Cut.
Well, Brits got the Vickers there to stimulate the British Vickers. Right.
Communication with one of our squads.
Got the command tank knocking out the arch with a nice flank here by Stephenn. 2 thumbs up. Almost got the Vickers section dropped. And there go the British surrender. The power of the flanking command tank breaking Xuman's morale. Nice play by Stephenn. Really good maneuvering, I think, around by him with Xuman. Definitely having the advantage of just the sheer number of Stuarts and then with the European being kind of dumb. But tactically just wasn't able to leverage it in a meaningful way against Stephenn. It was like, you know, I think play around with them pretty well and just slowly wear them down. And of course, armoured support with the salvageability proved to be crucial in ensuring that Stephenn didn't fall too far behind resource-wise. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Learned something from it. This is Imperial Legion. Cheers and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye everyone.